Good morning, Walter. It's a bit cool out here in the shop this morning. It's about 11 degrees Celsius. And I came out early this morning because, as you know, I had some little difficulty. Let me zoom out a little bit. I think the damn light's right in my way here. I had a little difficulty with the block. As it turned out, the quill came out perfect. It was absolutely perfect. It was exactly 810 thousandths check with the micrometer at all points. It was beautiful. So the lathe between centers ended up to do a good job. Originally, I was having some difficulty with the tailstock. I had I bought a quick release handle from LMS at one time, and actually, I guess I hadn't used it to turn between centers, but it was probably causing me problems all along, because what happened is when you tightened it, the tailstock would skew off to one side. And certainly didn't work between centers. So that was I had some difficulty with that. The Taig lathe would work, but I wanted to turn a piece about over 6 inches long. So it was a little frustrating on the Taig lathe because I have to move the tool post around and fool around with it. Actually, it was much easier on this lathe here. So what I did is I turned a test piece, actually, which actually wasn't as good as the last one, the final one I turned. This one was about a half a thousandths out from end to end, and it's about six inches long. And it's, it's smaller than it needs to be, but it was just a test piece that I wanted to try out. Then I turned another piece, and so this is the third one, third try. This piece is okay. Actually, I could have used it, no problem, but it had a very slight difference from end to end. And I don't know why that was, because the final piece came out absolutely perfect. So these tailstocks are probably not easy to adjust. They're not set up right to be able to get them adjusted correctly. And actually, it's in the factory position now, and that's where it's always been. I've never actually tried to adjust it. The little Taig lathe works pretty good, because I fooled with that tailstock at one time and I tried to get it perfect with a piece in there that was about 5 or however long I could turn in there. So anyway, that's where I'm at. And so, as you know, I had a little problem with the block. And it turned out this morning, after doing some looking at it more closely, the problem was that this interrupted cut where this dowel is in here, and you can see inside. Once it came off the lathe, I could see inside. The light would shine up in there correctly, and I could see there was a little problem right here at this spot. And that turns out to be not a problem, because it's just a small spot in there that's actually it's not too narrow. It's actually a little bit too wide right there. When I put the telescoping gauge up in there and checked it, it's a little bit too wide right there. So with that hammering on that dowel did cause a little problem in the bore. But the bore was pretty good at each end, so I was pretty good there. For some reason, I think some area that was close to this dowel ended up to be a little bit tight inside. And I think it probably wasn't that much, maybe a half a thousandth or a thousandth of an inch. It wasn't very much, but it was enough to keep the quill, the new quill, from going through. It would go at each end. It would start at each end, but it wouldn't go through. So this morning, I took some emery on this. I wrapped it around this test piece, which is quite a bit smaller, and I fiddled with it a little bit to try to open it up, try to open up the bore a little bit. I could see, you know, where it was hitting. Anyway, between doing that, a little polish on the quill, and some lapping compound that I finally put in there and once I got the quill in there, ran that back and forth. The quill is actually fitting beautifully. Now I've got a little bit of oil on it right now, but it's just maybe almost too tight. But it's you know, I can move it very easily, and with the oil, if I take the oil off, if I wipe it clean, it probably will be a little bit looser. But there is absolutely no play in it whatsoever. And it's longer than it needs to be right now. It only needs to be as long as the tailstock block, which is 4 inches. So I gotta, you know, cut the rear portion of it off. You can see the amount that I need to cut it off. Let's see here if I think I probably need to zoom out a little bit more. Well, you can see the portion. I got to cut all this off eventually, and this, you know, the protrusion will be 2 inches once it's fully extended. That's what theoretically, that's what I think. So that's going to be a sufficient distance. Let's see, 2 inches is. Let's see, actually I know where that is. It's right there. That's 2 inches out. It's going to extend 2 inches out, and that'll leave me enough room to put the lock in. And basically it's going to the friction is going to be up here in the front part of the block, actually. But it's actually, there is no wiggle, no play, no nothing in it. It's just tight as it can be, just beautiful. So I think it's going to be just fine. So the next step is I've got the tomorrow I'm supposed to receive the MT1 reamer from back east. So once I get that, I'll chuck this. I got to cut this off first, and then I'll chuck this up and ream the MT1 in here. And I'm going to bevel some of the corners. I was going to bevel them quite a bit to make it almost look round, but as it turns out, on the back portion back here, let me zoom on that a little bit. Let's see here. Darn light's right in my way here. The back portion, you know, I've got a back here where the hand wheel goes. There's going to be a cap that connects back here. That's probably going to be about, I don't know, maybe 3/8 of an inch in thickness. But what the thing is I'm going to have to place 2 screws in it to hold it on there. Even if they're small screws, I need some space to do that. So I'm going to have probably I'll put the screws, you know, kittywampus here. One up here in this corner and one down here in this corner. So if I bevel it, I don't want to bevel it too much, but I'll bevel a little bit, leaving room for the screws. And actually it'll be symmetrical when it's done, because I don't know, hopefully I'm still in the viewer. You can see where I've got some die-cam on here. These 2 sections are going to mill out eventually. So, and the bottom of this will mill out. I only need about half of this post here for the locking device. So that should be it, actually. So the next step, I'm not sure what the next step is. Probably either I'll mill these, get these milled out, and put the bevels on here next. And then when the MT1 reamer comes, I'll go ahead and get this drilled and cut off and so forth and so on. So this little project I don't think is going to take that long. Should be pretty simple, and hopefully this video is fairly short. I don't expect it to be too long. The last video I think was about 10 minutes, and I'm hoping this video will be less than that. So it's just I just wanted to bring you up to date to where I'm at on this, and I got your 2 videos this morning. Looks like your clapper and your tool holder are coming along really good. So that was my coffee time this morning. I watched your 2 videos. I was up bright and early this morning. I see you sent them last night, but I shut the computer off around 7 o'clock, and I don't go in there after that. So I didn't know I had any email in there. Anyway, that's where I'm at. I'll call off now, and hopefully you can see what I'm doing here. I'm not sure how well the camera's quite a ways away. I've got it over on another bench, and it has a viewer turned my way, but it's a little bit hard to see. Anyway, I'll call off now, and I'll post this video on YouTube. It'll be video number 2 of the Taig Tailstock. So talk to you later.